Today's date is June 6th, 2019. We are in Paxton, Illinois. We're seated here today with
Donna.
And Zane.
So Donna and Zane, if you guys don't mind, please tell us your story.
It has made me and you closer, though.
Absolutely has. Yeah, I mean, you're my best friend now, you know. Absolutely. So I don't think... Oh, shit. I don't think we had nearly as strong as a relationship beforehand, you know.
No.
Just because, you know, that's just the way Dad was. You know, you know how it is.
He was the primary caretaker of you kids.
Yeah.
Which was weird. I worked.
That's not to detract from you.
I did the first two. He had you two. So.
Yeah.
I worked in Champaign. He has schedule, so he picked up kids, ran kids, so the kids were extremely close to their dad. He pretty much took the typical mother role, and I took the typical father role. And so, yeah, you two were really tight. But we've gotten there.
It was definitely an unjustified anger. It was more like a selfish, kind of the selfish hate, you know. It's why didn't Illini 4000 help my dad? You know, why didn't
cancer
Susan
research,
you know, anything like that? I just kind of thought it was all bull crap after that because of what I went through. And I know now, you know, I think I did know back then that I wanted to place that hate somewhere. You know, I wanted to be angry at something, and I took it out on wrong things, you know, because I was 16. I mean, that was emotionally and developmentally the worst time that this could happen to me. So I was just fueled with hate, you know, for almost that entire next year. And
but you didn't let out. You had tried to ignore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely shut it in, and that just made it so much worse. And, you know, up until Illini 4000, I'd never done anything regarding cancer benefits or anything like that. And so when I went to the meeting and heard about this cross-country trip about cancer research and patient support services, that was kind of the switch for me. You know, that's, as I was saying earlier, something placed me there. I don't know what it was. God, nature, just fate, I don't know. But I just thought now's the time. And I was like, that kind of redemption, also just personal journey. You know, it's something I needed to do. So he was the most selfless man.
And extremely ethical. It was just like he was self-employed, and he undercut himself so much in business that instead of, you know, he'd work an hour and 45 minutes and he'd charge him an hour. And I'm like, well, why didn't you estimate? And he said, no, I lose a few bucks, but I sleep good at night. And I see a lot of that in you. And I think that's the way you can honor him, is emulating him as a man. And so far I see you doing that. The biggest support came from my brother and sister. My sister was retired, and she pretty much moved here for 5 months. She got an apartment so that if one of the kids were sick or Scott was sick, that we had a place to go where we kept his immune system. I tried to work the whole time. So she took him to treatments. That's who you're staying with. If it wasn't for her, we would have went bankrupt because I knew he was dying. You don't have stage 4 lung cancer and survive it. I worked as much as I could until I seen the treatments were going down, that they weren't making a difference, and I quit working. I can find another job. I wasn't going to get that last month with the person that meant the most to me. So my sister helped us financially. We were extremely fortunate in that regard. Most people do not have that. And emotional support. She and my brother, He lives in Tennessee. His family, not so much, but my family was there tremendously. I didn't have a lot of support in the community. We didn't let it be well known.
I didn't tell anybody.
He was
My high
extremely,
school.
my husband was extremely private. People found out he was sick when they read his obituary. It wasn't one of these, we're going to have, a fundraiser. I think I had somebody pick you kids up once from school when he was sick. Other than that, that's the only thing we asked for the community. We kept it within the family.
Yeah.
But that's all we needed at that point. They were strong enough for us that we didn't need to go outside of it. So, yeah. We were lucky in that regard. I went from my mom's home to my husband's home to at 51 years old being the responsible adult by myself for the first time, and it scared the living shit out of me. I thought, even though I paid the bills, I did everything, I never did it alone. And that was terrifying to me. If I could talk to myself 2 years ago, I'd say, you got it. You've done it. You've got it. Believe in yourself. But it's really hard. I was terrified. I felt like I had just moved out on my own. And here I had owned 2 houses, raised 4 kids, and I
You'd always been with someone,
I went right from mom to dad.
Yeah.
So, from my parents to my husband. So that was the scariest thing I've ever been through, because I was responsible for 2 still home, and I didn't have anybody to bounce the idea off of. We played off of each other a lot. One of us would say something, we'd go, yeah, that's not such a good idea. Let's rethink that. There was nobody to say that. So I had to learn to trust my own voice. And did it at 50, but I grew from it. So, and now I don't shut up, right?
Oh.
I found my voice. So, yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to say?
I think this is helping you a lot.
Yeah, it's a big personal journey for me.
I think so. I think this is
kicking my butt,
But mentally, I think it's a huge, because for 3 years you've kind of, not the ignore it, it'll go away, because it's never going to go away, but ignore it and don't deal with it.
Yeah.
And I think like doing these portraits and stuff, you're forced to face it for the first time.
Absolutely. These portraits are just so sincere to me. And I get worked up every single one, just because of